Welcome again to Living World of Darkness. We set the scene rather abruptly within a library. Actually, a private room of a library. One used for studying, but one also used for conferences. In the middle of the room happens to be IKEA knockoffs of tables, as well as IKEA knockoff of sliding chairs as well. They have plastic wheels. They're terribly crappy, but it's good for the congregation that is currently settled within this private room. On one side, we have a blackboard, and on that blackboard is a bit of chalk writing that Jericho is trying to settle into. So, right, I have no idea what we're doing here. Looking to the rest of the people who can introduce themselves at will. The intern, meanwhile, while the Jericho is at the chalkboard writing the list down. The intern is right beside him, counting. Okay, 1, 2, 3 vowels, 4 consonants. Could you reword this one? Shooting down the crows is something else. Else, it has too many sentences in it.
Okay.
Why don't you go and put this word over here? Maybe that makes more sense, the whole way of looking at it.
Sure. Squaring the verb tense would actually work very fine. He says, readjusting what seems to be a pair of earmuffs that when people actually try to listen on it, sounds like just static. Headache for the most part. Occasionally he rubs his good eye, the other one listed by an eye patch. Okay, so we think she's going by her maiden name now? Is that what we're thinking of?
Yeah, it's fine. It would be easier to kind of go unnoticed for a longer period of time going under the maiden name.
Also, didn't you also say that she was getting a divorce from her husband or something so that she would drop her married name or something like that? I don't think there were any divorce records. Looking towards Leia, you were the one that looked
No,
at the marriage ones.
no. I think she's given her background. I think she would have been hardline Catholic. She wouldn't have been getting a divorce.
Okay.
Which actually brings me to another very interesting question, Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of weeks ago, shortly after we went into that field of roses, you were very specific in telling me that you had said that we wouldn't really be working with demons.
Looking over to Daniel. But this is one I trust.
And he just waves very sheepishly. Hi.
I don't necessarily care if you trust him or not. I care about what you said we would not be doing.
Look. I know this is not the perfect arrangement, but he knows just as much as what's going on as any one of us, and I'm not going to turn away an information source just because it's a little bit infernal.
Oh, just
I'll go and stand in the corner over there and be nothing if you really don't want me here. And he says, slightly moving towards the corner of the room.
Allies at convenience, even for a little bit, are always helpful. You can backstab them later, of course.
fine, but we need to have a talk about this. She's going to go down, take out her notes, and slam her books down on the table.
Actually, could someone call up the address to the grave? I think you get more numbers that way.
Yeah, it's at St. Patrick's Cathedral.
St. Patrick's. I'm asking for the address specifically.
1 second. She's going to start going through her notes.
Does a double parentheses and writes the address underneath it.
Fifth Avenue, New York, NY 100, 10022.
22. Okay. This will fit very nicely into the formula. Thank you very much. Right. Intern, I don't think I've told you. Easy, I've definitely not told you. There's been a new development, Shadowland side, actually.
What do you mean?
Well, apparently some of the people in the park, took a trip into the underground, and they saw something. It's like they described it as a big dome, actually, centered around Queens, getting bigger. It's currently encompasses the borough as well as two of the neighboring ones, Manhattan and Brooklyn, actually. A little bit of Bronx, too.
When did that happen?
The people in the park visited the Shadowlands 2 to 3 days ago.
Kian, how long ago has it been since Nisi went into the subway system?
I'm trying to remember now. When did we lost? About a week.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. You won't necessarily see any kind of relationship between the two.
Just checking.
It's like, this problem is getting exhausting. Can I get an X somewhere? Actually, do you guys know of any way I can just gradually differentiate the cross components of the vowels? Maybe that would help. Blank. Blank.
Wait a minute, differentiate the cross components of vowels. She looks at the chalkboard. I think you can try adding roses.
Okay. Jericho goes ahead and adds roses, then field of roses, and then crucified man. Do roses equal memory? Yeah, actually. Okay, thank you. Equals remembrance. Shorten. Memory. Shorten.
It's
RAM. No. It's sort of like an athma, actually. It's a flower. It's a rose. It's a gift you give to somebody that's going to suffer. Ramming capital
like
letters.
They shouldn't be like that, but they are.
So wait a second. So when you give roses to someone you're about to date, you're apologizing before for being a crappy lover? Or just being a general jackass in the date. Fair enough.
I mean, because, like, when a guy gives you roses on Valentine's Day, he's either trying to impress you or trying to make up for a really crappy year in a relationship.
I'll need to remember that.
That's actually really profound. Wait a second.
Like, here's a whole bunch of expensive flowers.
Wait, time out. Maybe we're looking at this at the wrong end. What if it's the man making the flowers, not the woman? So you're saying that the crucified man, bearing no soul, is still wishing to, make amends, using the souls of recently dead, or should I say, willing sacrifices. Because I can't forget, these are willing sacrifices. These are suicides that have been going on for about a year. Maybe I'm thinking about the wrong way. Maybe it's not the man. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's like a blending of the two, guilt and mistrust.
If he had more to do with it, then I think there'd be more lilies in that field.
How does that make sense?
Well, do you remember the flower we found when we went into his room?
The lily, yes.
Yeah. I think that she's taking the rose as, just given the fact that we've seen the rose as a repeated motif with Alpha, to speak. She's associating the rose with herself. She associated it with her wedding the rose is either her favorite flower or she just finds it very profound. Or just any reason, just whatever reason, she is attached to that flower. Now, to him, who apparently they like took on these names for whatever reason, meaning something in their relationship, then I think that he would actually have a different flower associated with him, one that means an end, rather than a rose, which can be used to symbolize love, which could also be used to mean a beginning.
Okay, what does a lily represent, or what does a lily mean?
Death.
It's a flower of mourning. Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
They originally started putting it in funeral homes to mask the smell.
Well, you learn something every day. And the intern actually takes a step back for a moment, goes to an empty spot, and floralist? Question mark? Yeah. Is there any way for us to quickly figure out the influx and movement of flowers really quickly?
Google?
What do you mean, like bought from stores or anything?
Not just bot, but the general movement of it. I mean, if we could get like a this might be an entirely side tangent and totally not worth it, but if we get like a matrix of movement of flowers, that might show us something interesting. But it's a side tangent. It's probably nothing, or is it something?
I can figure out whether or not it was a good growing year for flowers pretty quickly.
Well, how many flowers did we actually encounter on this side?
On this side of the world, one.
Just the one. Just the lily. Paradoxically, we also get about quite a field of roses in the Deathlands.
And a bunch of roses at the wedding, which happened about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's the rose. Maybe it's the flowers doing this. What if we got this all wrong? What if the roses and the lilies are cross-pollinating the wrong areas and venues? And this is just a side effect of that smaller inconsistency. Nah. Well,
I don't think
it's
so.
very, very possible that some sort of other phenomenon is in effect, but we definitely see an agent working. We definitely see an agent manipulating both the chorister and the Euthanatoid chantry. Pretty damn handily, actually.
We see a herald.
These two chantries were targeted.
Okay, fair enough. Just theory crafting.
We see a
I believe
herald.
that they were
That's how he
targeted.
introduced himself.
We'll get to the Herald in a bit. The Euthanatoi and the Chorister Chantry were targeted because they were related to the marriage and the wedding that happened. Master Remy being the best man and Sister Larissa being the priest to preside.
That's wrong name, but yeah.
Okay.
The thing about, we've been saying this a lot, but if, one idea that I'm actually starting to wonder about now, not in a good way at all, is Mother refers to herself, quite possibly, Mother is the chorister, the symbol of moving things through. She's Alpha, or at least so we theorized. The father, Omega, Omega from the Santos. Put them together, you get Alpha Omega, but we've been thinking about her being Alpha Omega, Mary Stewart, when I'm wondering if maybe we should think about Chloe as being Alpha Omega, as being a combination of both parents.
The joining and blending of the two. So you finally came to that conclusion, did you?
I'm saying that maybe we're thinking about I've already entertained so many horrible possibilities with this that it's not a big deal to entertain one more very horrible possibility. More specifically, starting with the fact that this whole thing has, for the most part, taken place in the Shadowlands, right?
Right.
Yes, it has. Continue. I like this train of thought.
We've been talking specifically about, like, we've talked a long time about how much power it would take for somebody to punch through to the Shadowlands and create something. When it might take less power if somebody's already there.
To actually punch through the veil is it? Oh fuck.
It definitely requires a lot of force and a lot of effort. Think about this, Nisi. You've said it once before. Who's ever doing this doesn't cover her tracks very, very well. It's almost childish how this has been going.
This is, we've come up with the idea that maybe Mary Stewart is trying to resurrect Chloe, but maybe we're getting this a little wrong.
Could very well be one child in the middle of two arguing parents who just wants to make things all right. And while they're doing that, the internet started writing down on something else. You know, I heard from an old horror, not an old horror, but a bad horror movie. Starts writing down, and what's written down on the chalkboard is, "To a child, mother is God." Question mark? Very, very possible. In any case, we still need to find some way to track down this agent, whoever, whatever she might be, he might be, it might be. That's why I'm suggesting we go ahead and look at two different holdings. Mary Stuart Laster's holdings, property, anything attached there via the marriage or the medical records, and also Marcus Laster's holdings, property via the medical and the marriage records. That's the only way we're going to get a solid lead and possibly even an address. We could always swing by the address we have. Tink, tink, tink. The graveyard.
Nobody's been to that grave in a really long time.
Leads credence to the idea that the mother may have also been dispatched.
Oh, like, usually it's not been that long since Chloe's death. You would expect the death of a beloved child. You would expect the grave of a beloved child to be much better maintained than that grave specifically. That grave had no fresh flowers on it. Not even flowers that had been there for a few days, didn't have any wreaths, the grass wasn't cut. So it is possible somebody's been visiting, I guess, but they haven't been doing anything.
Question. Would it do more harm or good to exhume the grave?
You guys have like, if anybody, I mean, given what happened last time the police got involved with this particular little situation, like, you guys have any idea what happens if anybody at all sees us digging in a graveyard and then later it comes out it was a child's grave?
How about we just call her?
Turns towards Daniel. You may be a creature that is able to do this at whim. You may be able to creature very, very familiar and very, very comfortable with doing so. However, such a spirit, such trauma, such power attached behind it, even if it's only indirectly through a parent, that carries a whole bunch of risk as well. If we do that, we ought to be a lot more prepared than we are right now. But there is something. there were the bandits that we got names for. Tom Dooley actually forwarded me an article about one of them, Mr. Crow, but he wasn't able to gather anything about Jared or Juliet House, actually. Jerry and Juliet? JJ. Weird names.
Well, while we're monitoring things that have come up, simply because everything that's been happening with the homeless population, been looking at that. There's a new housing project called the Unity Housing Project that's apparently been doing, like, all of the different news outlets are like, oh, this is this great thing. It's been doing a lot of really good things for the homeless community. And I'm just saying this has been suddenly very different from kind of what we've been hearing over the past few months. We've been hearing some repair work, we've been hearing some horrible things, and now suddenly we've got something that sounds very good. Any sort of break in the trend.
Could be a natural phenomenon of one thing bouncing in a natural reactionary force, or it could be two agents trying to actively combat each other. Or it could be just bullshit and evil ministry. Could be. Nisi.
Yes?
If you're interested in Unity and its particular actions, I believe they actually have a meeting coming up. Somebody passed me a flyer a while ago, back in December, actually, right before we found Little Green Men. But I think I still have that pamphlet, and I think that still has that schedule of events for Unity Project, whatever it may be. From what I could tell, it's a community builder.
I'm just saying that since the homeless community is so tied up in this, that anything that affects them is
Speaking
going
about
to...
that,
Yes?
why didn't I not? I gotta go. Talk to you guys later. And he just sort of turns around and walks into a wall and disappears.
I'm gonna roll fate dice.
He bumps against the wall. Ow!
Nope, you definitely get through. And the room is definitely filled with a fairly cold chill, like an overturned grave, but no smoke, and no hauntings. Congratulations.
Yay.
Yeah, I think I'd be interested in that.
Okay. We can go ahead and look at that together if you want, or you can take the intern here. He's helpful.
Well, if it's an open meeting, it's one thing, but if you're media, you'll be surprised what they let you get away with. My boss is really weirded out by all these rather scattered stories I seem to be doing, but they're good with that. They say I haven't quite found my niche yet.
Okay, really quickly. And he taps on the forward. What can we do now, and what can we do going forward?
We can look up holdings. Right now, definitely that's fairly easy to do. That's the most straightforward thing. If we want to look up whether or not a specific spell or effect is being put in place by a mage or by anything like that, that's more arcane knowledge.
You need to go to your own chantry for that kind of knowledge.
Yeah.
I can look in mine. They haven't barred the doors to me yet. Okay. Just 1 second. And now the intern starts to turn a little knob on his mirror phones and just crank it up to 11. And what I want to attempt to do is try to prioritize leads using a little bit of guesswork and magic. Problem is, I don't have access to the dice roller right now.
Okay. Loading it up. So what exactly are you trying to do?
I'm trying to use Interfee level 1 to sense the fate of it. Corresponds 1 to figure out the connections. Corresponds 1 lets you do that. And then time 2 to figure out which one is most prudent to follow at which times.
Okay, cool. So what are the pathways you're choosing?
The pathways?
Yeah.
Consonants, vowels, numbers.
No, I mean, what pathways are you choosing? Which are the directions you're looking towards? Which one are you trying to work out is most probable? Which are the ones you're trying to work out is most probable to pursue?
Which of the holdings? Where the bandits are important in that, and whatever else. I mean, we've got a list which I'm trying to work with. The whole
Yeah.
point of the chalkboard and me just writing numbers down
Yep.
and figuring out the words and vowels was me trying to figure out the.
Cool. Can you throw the list back on the chat, please?
Yeah, that's right, because he dropped out.
Yeah. Just give me a straight intelligence enigmas roll.
Intelligence enigmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what we've got. Okay. 2 successes. Oh, he's dropped out. Hello. Okay. Are you back? Can you hear me?
Hey, sorry about that. Sorry about.
Okay, you've got 2 successes in intelligence enigmas, and what you can begin to work out is while you've been chasing up a lot of leads on this side of the veil, you've done very little work on the other side. The knowledge you got about the bandits you got on the other side of the veil, but you haven't done any research or the house people, siblings, and Crow. You haven't followed up anything on the other side of the veil.
I can do that myself. I got an article from Tom Dooley. I'll use that as an anchor in order to further spearhead some investigation and research. Okay. And while he's doing that, could we maybe look at some of the local this side of the veil records, historical records. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. In that case, if you're just going for historical records, can you give me a... I'm going to ask for an intelligence computers check, assuming you're doing straight that.
Okay. Can I use my mind sphere to give me a slightly higher intelligence?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Double check your odds and everything.
I take 3.
Right. Two successes, which puts it up by 2. If you're happy with that.
I'm good with that. Intelligence of 5, computers of 2, 7 dice.
Devil. Ah, buttons. You get 3 successes. Doing a quick research, doing a quick Google for the names, you end up finding that they all initially kind of lived around this area. Hundreds of years back, they were well known to be kind of bandits. Each of them were outlaws. The 2 siblings ended up working together and running certain stagecoaches. basically taking advantage of tourists as well, kind of coming in. They ran different gangs, different smuggling operations, basically taking advantage of whatever the hell they could.
Okay.
You've even got records as to how they died.
How did they die?
Shot by the law.
Where were they interned?
You'll get some graveyards.
Like, before you do anything funny, I think I have some places you would key more quickly. Okay. To do 100 years.
Wait a second.
What? You said something about people getting enslaved on this side. Is that true? It's very true. Okay, well, these are a bunch of people that took advantage of newcomers and basically did every dirty trick, or at least every dirty trick they could easily get away with. You think these crow bandits are actually slavers on the other side? It's very likely. Very, very possible. That kind of personality sort of persists. And if they were really, really good at Shanghaiing the living, they'd be probably really, really good at Shanghaiing the dead as well.
So it could be possible that they're working to get those memories in that field of roses.
It's very, very possible that they've been even hired as mercenaries under the Alpha Omega banner. Because that's the thing, the Alpha Omega banner, it's starting to spread a little bit, actually. It started at St. Peter's and it just sort of started cropping up in other buildings and other structures and other fortresses on the other side. That's why I'm particularly afraid to go walking around in Manhattan. I never know who's going to punch me in the head. Well, not to be an asshole or anything, but I don't think I can actually follow you over there. No, you really can't. I could sure make something up, though. What are you thinking? Well, my tuition... Okay. You know what a VR set is, right? Yes. Have you ever seen Tron before? Yes. Now, what if instead of going to your computer, what if you went to a Shadowland? I don't quite get the example here.
So you're saying you could make a machine that we could like download our consciousness or ourselves into the Shadowland?
It's a theory, a general theory. I have no idea how I would do it, but I've heard rumors of people being able to project themselves onto the silver pathways. Interesting. You're talking about projecting your perceptions, right? Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Guys, I happen to have a long caretaker suit. All I gotta do is go ahead and walk over towards St. Peter's, act as if I'm one of the staff there. I've got a good bit of occultation to myself. All I gotta do is hold up my little charm here. He holds up the root talisman. Do a quick looky-loo. If anything requires further investigation, I can do that as well. You gonna need some cover for that? I might. It'd be a good idea to have somebody with eyes in the back of my head. That's something we could do now. If you guys want. I always heard there was a big risk to go to the graveyard, but Nisi, you're the only one that's been there, I assume.
Yeah, it's just the one attached to St. Patrick's.
You think you can get us in without nary a trouble?
It's public land. Anybody can walk in there at any time.
Wait, St. Peter's or St. Patrick's? They both have P's.
Patrick's. That's the one where the grave of Chloe is. That is what we're referring to.
Fair enough. You guys are up to it. Let's... Oh, today seems
Sorry.
like a good bit of black. Today seems to be a good day to die. Because
Yes.
apparently there's a party going on the other side.
Hmm. 1 second. Nisi's gonna go up to the reference section real quick, and she's gonna look up the latest edition of the phone book. And while she's there, she's gonna do a quick search of Mary Stewart's and Mary Lassiter's.
Okay. You're not going to find it. You'll find Mary Stewart's. You won't find any Mary Lasters.
Up over the public records, maybe give you a little bit more, but yeah, that seems like a good start.
Yeah, I'm gonna take pictures of the pages, and then just put it back real quick.
Oh, that's a good.
You'll probably find about 20 Mary Stewart's.
Hey, I got through my community college career by being a student caller. I'm used to cold calling.
You want a little bit of help with that? The intern goes ahead and looks at the numbers and starts adding them together. Lots of 800 numbers, by the way. And then he divides it by the number 20. You said 20 of them, right?
That's what he said. He said about 20.
Yep.
Okay. He adds the entirety of the numbers and then divides them by 20. He's getting the average, which in actuality will... It's magic. Right guess.
So basically, you're trying to find a probability that one is the correct one.
Right.
Cool. Okay. Give me a roll. Are you a Rate 2 or 3?
3.
I go. Yep. Okay. You're looking at the probabilities, and you get an even probability on each one.
It's like... It looks like they all have the same chance of being it.
Okay. I'll take care of that later. I've got some. That's gonna be an interesting afternoon. But yeah, I start my shift fairly soon. So if you want to go down to the graveyard, we'd have to go down now.
Yeah, sure. I'm ready for a day trip. Alright, let's go.
Okay.
Where's a car?
Well, I don't, so we're taking the metro.
Yep, we're taking the metro. Yeah, that sounds fine.
Don't worry, it's like a 15-minute walk from the nearest station.
Okay. Which graveyard are you going to? Are you going to the graveyard of whereabouts you know the criminals were, or are you going to the graveyard of Chloe Laster?
What do you
Miss
guys?
Lassiter.
Okay.
Okay.
So headed to see.
After a bit of time, you find yourself once again in a graveyard. You see a number of graves, many of them well kept. It's cold, the trees are bare, and once again you manage to find your way to Chloe Laster's grave. It's untouched, unlooked after. It looks like no care has been given. No one's even come here once to try to trim away the flowers. The only thing you can see is whereabouts you removed some of the vines from the name previously.
Yeah, the vine removal, that was just me trying to check to make sure this was the grave.
Yep.
How long has it been since you've last seen this?
It's been... how long has it been, Kian?
I can't remember if I'm honest with you. Call it a month.
About a month ago.
Okay. Jericho's gonna go ahead and take his root talisman out, start fiddling with a few of the roots, and I just want the strength of the gauntlet. Where it's strong, where it's weaker. This is a graveyard, so I expect some kind of lowered background, but any particularly interesting places?
Okay. The entire place is actually just a little bit lower than normal, I'd say. But you'll even notice that Chloe Laster's grave just a little bit weaker.
Like
Just
a
a little
sinkhole?
bit. Huh?
Like a sinkhole?
Not so much like a sinkhole. A sinkhole would give the idea that there's a gradual decrease. It's just there's a dip.
Okay. So, Jericho's currently experiencing like this. He's been to graveyards, he's been to places where dead bodies are interred and gathered, he's been prepared and examined and the like. This particular graveyard is just a little bit, just subtly by degrees, more spooky than the others. More spooky is a scientific term. But apparently Chloe Laster's grave, at least the area around it, is just a point. It's a point that's just plain weaker. Okay.
Actually, before you do that, you mind if I take some pictures?
What?
Okay. Actually, could I get someone to help me out with the setting up the equipment? Otherwise, this will not work at all.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and take this tripod, and he gives you a tripod with one of those Polaroid cameras that you snap and then it comes out.
Mhm.
He
Okay.
gives someone else a camera that has an SED stick and says, "Go over there about that hill right there, and I'll be over here." He says with his own little old-fashioned Rolodex camera.
Jericho will go ahead and take the camera, look to Nisi, and simply say, "Add-ups like they're toys." Walk in the direction pointed.
Okay.
And essentially what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get everyone to click their cameras at the same time. And when I do that, by the way, when was the funeral?
The funeral was about a year ago or so.
Click the lower knob once.
Click.
Click.
Click. And basically I'm using a post-cognition to see the funeral. And when I mean see the funeral, I mean that the camera flashes will give me the flash of what the intention of what was here a year ago at the funeral. Is that okay?
Okay. So you're trying to use time 2. Cool. I like that.
Yep. Do I get a slightly decreased difficulty because I'm getting multiple people to help me out with this?
You all have different paradigms, and you don't have. You'll
Okay,
have different
so-
paradigms.
Okay, so basically it's all on me.
Yeah,
Do I get a smaller difficulty because I'm using the focus of the cameras?
using a focus means that you don't get an increase in difficulty. If you take your time, you get a decrease in difficulty. It's -1. There is a handy sheet, which is now in the chat.
Okay. Hey, yeah, I'm only using the thing as focus. Okay, I'll tell them, hold it for like a minute, okay? Just let the exposure run through.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
That's me telling them to take more time. How about that?
Yep, that's cool.
Alright, roll.
Okay. That's a botch.
Did all of our cameras just explode?
One of your cameras explodes, and you begin. Take 2 points of paradox, please.
Okay. Plus
How many have you got?
and the camera explodes in my hand. I just feel this electric charge in my hand. It's like, oh god! Oh.
Yeah.
It doesn't look entirely broken, but you do feel a slight tingle to your fingers. You reckon you can repair it and give it another go should you wish.
Oh.
But it's like some of the settings have been reset, and it's just kind of like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Like, hey, give me a minute. We're gonna try it another time. Oh god.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Let me walk around a little bit.
While they're working on fixing this, I was wondering if I could cast Prime Sight to kind of just see, because Jericho said something was up with the grave. I just want to see how that looks in the weaving.
Okay. Roll it.
Okay, that's an Arate 2. My dice roll. Okay.
You're not doing this, are you, kid? Okay.
So,
Let home rise, darkness tremble in your home. Not happening.
No, that's actually a success.
DC 4. Coincidental, +1 for thing.
What if I keep trying to do it for a long time?
You can do it again. Give me another roll.
Okay. So I'm going to just keep singing.
Okay.
We're doing all of the little investigation reading works.
Okay, you begin to see your friends glow. You begin to see that divine spark amongst the two next to you. Amongst the intern's cameras, you begin to see that slight twist and flicker. And amongst the graves, you see the odd new person appear, shall we say. Begin to walk around. Just these kind of flickers, this brief flashes of imagery. Imagine looking at a shadow. You begin to see that roughly, that kind of hewn sense, just walking around unimpeded, walking through objects. And you look at the grave, and once again you begin to see something off. You can't really put your finger on it, you're not entirely certain. But something seems good about that grave. Something seems holy.
Totally ground.
Guys, you know that theory I had about maybe Chloe was somehow involved in everything that was going on?
It's like, you're up. Click,
I
click,
don't think
click.
she is anymore. This is weird. I've never, like, the grave seems holy. Does that make sense? Just like this feeling I get that this particular spot is connected with the one. Just truly a true connection. I don't really feel that from the rest of the graves here. The rest of the graves are graves. You know, it's moved on. It's not a thing anymore.
It's dead people looking at different things as the intern flicking his camera on and off. God damn it.
Yeah, but
Something good about that particular grave, something divine. You see, I'm not that familiar with Catholicism. I was grown up Protestant, but
well,
would
so am I.
okay, fair enough.
I just you learn things when your particular tradition is so focused on. But what were you gonna say? Is she just kind of like she just keeps like looking at it differently, cocking her head back and forth.
Would the body of a saint glow like that? Would it be so connected to the one?
I'd imagine.
Okay.
For certain.
Does the saint have to be dead?
Well, that depends. There's you can imbue objects with holy power, with just that kind of primal cry, so to speak. But when you do that, it's like the difference between creating a relic. And so if there was like a relic here, but saints' bones supposedly are supposed to be a relic of their own type.
Alright, okay.
So,
When Kean gets back, I'll go ahead and do something. But Jericho goes ahead and muses. So we're here. We knew the grave was important. We can see that the grave apparently has very, very strong correspondence with the gauntlet, or at least breaking through the gauntlet. You can see that apparently it has divine spark as well. Could the bones of Chloe Laster be an enchanted object that's currently seeping or sapping the strength of the gauntlet?
I don't know. I'm not sure in terms of relics, things like that, but something's just good about here. It's not sad. She died very young, I'm not sure if she...
She had a good life. Sometimes you kids luck out.
Yeah, he's got a point.
Well,
What if it was...
yeah, but I'm wondering whether or not... I'm wondering... It would have been too young for her to have been awakened. In most cases, you don't awaken till later unless you're some sort of prodigy. So it would have been unlikely for her to know that her parents were mages.
Nisi, you said it yourself. Prodigies sometimes happen. With two parents who happen to be awakened, the child's probability of being awakened goes up by leaps and bounds. Intern.
But that's
Yeah, you are... Intern, you're right.
What is that right about this time?
But if she was awakened, and if she was fully aware of the effect of magic, then she would have known that her father let her go.
Maybe she was okay with it. Maybe she understood more than everyone else did. You know, kids can kind of pick up on stuff like that.
Yeah, the intern has a point. The length of a life is not so important as the quality of a life. That's what most people kind of forget. If you spend your life in a spaceship shooting off to Mars and you don't really get to do or experience anything, the trip is kind of not worth it. However, if you stay on Earth and you spend about 3 weeks with your most loved and cherished, that's a good quality of life. But
Yeah, exactly.
in any case, Jericho goes ahead and pops open his root talisman, and now he's just going to go ahead and look beyond the gauntlet, past the gauntlet.
Okay. Give me a roll.
Alright. And this is where the internet crashes. I'm taking my time with this one.
Okay.
2 successes.
As you begin to open your eyes, as you begin to... You're not really activating spirit sight, are you? You're just looking beyond the... Actually, no, you are, aren't you? How exactly are you... Yeah. You begin to see a couple spirits walking around. Walking around in the graveyard. You see 1 or 2 which always follow you around. Well, you being a bit of a magnet for such entities. You see a couple which just looking over different graves. And as your vision begins to flicker, as your vision attempts to flicker beyond this part of the bottom, are you trying to see into the Shadowlands, or are you just literally using it to try to see the spirits? Both.
Actually, I'm trying to look directly through that weakness of the gauntlet over Chloe Laster's grace. I'm literally looking through. I'm looking into the Shadowlands.
Okay, cool. You're blind.
I'm blind. Awesome.
You're gonna be blind for a little bit. You don't know what the fuck you saw.
Alright, so just to describe it a little bit,
I'll give you a bit more information. You try to look through the gauntlet, you try to look beyond it, and something rushes your senses, something subsumes you, something... It's like an explosion. It shatters through you. It rips through your body.
Mine one. Mine one to try to differentiate, try to, categorize all this, try to separate all this out. I don't care if I become blind afterwards, I just need some useful information out of all this.
Give me a roll. And it's going to be
Spin.
+1 difficult. It's going to be +2 difficulty because this is hailing, smashing against your senses.
Okay, so that's a difficulty of 6. I'm spinning willpower. 2 successes.
With 2 successes, you know you've never experienced this. You know that in your books, and give me an intelligence cosmology roll.
If it's difficulty 6, that's 2. If not, none.
Okay, with what you've read, with what you've known, there are no documentation as to what you've just experienced.
Awesome. Jericho at this moment, after doing that quick mental compartmentalization, is going to go ahead and close his eyes rather tightly, go ahead and throw his hands to his face, breathe quite deeply, and start to stifle his own screaming.
Are you okay? What's wrong?
There's something beyond. There's something so much beyond. Through the gauntlet, through the veil between worlds. Don't look through that grave. Don't. And he'll try as hard as he can to describe the indescribable.
I'm gonna... Is there a way with a mind effect, not necessarily to see what he's seeing, but to kind of get a feel for what's happening to him? Like an outside look.
You'd have to try to read his surface thoughts.
I have mine too.
You can do that.
Okay, Jericho, just stay where you are. I'm just gonna try to go in and see what's happening to you.
So forward! Ah!
Actually, you can do it. 1, if you're just trying to sense his emotions.
Okay,
Jericho.
I'm just trying to sense if there's any alien thing inside and what its intent might be.
Mm-hmm.
What was the worst thing you've done recently?
Well, it certainly wasn't Christmas. It was about 7 months ago.
And what was the best thing your character's done recently?
The best thing I did recently? Oh boy. I don't really know.
Okay. You just feel that memory of the worst thing you've done come up to you. And you begin to feel that bile raised towards yourself. You feel slightly disgusted with yourself at the concept of what you did.
I'm gonna roll my stamina.
Nisi,
Nope, I'm belching.
do you want to try again? You're seeing him throwing up. You're seeing him shake. You're hearing him yell.
Okay, calm down. Okay, I'm gonna expend a willpower on this. I think that's my last willpower. Like, I had 3 and then I used 2 and then this is 1.
Wait, when did he use 2? In other scenes?
In other scenes, yeah.
Hang on.
Okay, so... Let's see here. Okay.
Were you trying to read his surface thoughts, or were you trying to...
I was trying to see, get a feel for what is invading his mind, trying to get its intent, and trying to just kind of on the surface what's happening to him.
Okay. I'm going to say you're doing this while it's still going on, while he's still partly looking, while his eyes are blind. His eyes are still open. and you feel rapture. You feel peace. You feel the sense of acknowledgement. You feel like something in you has been confirmed. But from him, you begin to feel guilt. You begin to feel this sense of his own wrongness.
I don't... Oh, God. Okay, Jericho, look, you got it. Okay, you're being judged, okay?
I don't. What do I do? What do I do?
You've done you, essentially. Your life is being judged right now. That's as far as I can see. Whatever is in your head is obviously not seeing what it likes.
Get it out! Get it out! Get it out!
Okay. I don't... Nisi's gonna continue singing, and I imagine I'm gonna have to roll for this again, but I am going to try to get into almost like a message blared through. Not exactly commune, but kind of get something, whatever's doing this, to kind of say something.
So are you trying to put a mental impulse through Jericho, or are you trying to put a mental impulse through the gauntlet?
Through Jericho, because whatever this thing is, it's reading him, so it's going to get this. Hopefully.
Okay, Spirit 2.
Oh, I don't have spirit.
Sorry, mine 2.
Oh, okay. I have mine too.
But what am I saying? Hang on. Yeah, mine 2.
Okay,
It's like if you're still looking for good things, there happens to be the twins. There happens to be the hours of volunteer work after the disaster on Halloween. There also happens to be just the reindeer incident only a few days ago. If you're still
Okay.
looking for good things.
What you begin to feel, okay, as you begin to blare that impulse through,
as well as kind of like a message. Can I do that too, or is that too much?
it's more of an impulse you can
Okay.
send. You can send this concept of thought, or you can try and send, shall we say.
Kind of what I'm trying to do with the mishmash is of like the things I'm pulling through, not only good memories of good things, of self-worth things, but also kind of almost like a narrative. What he has done, his life is not over yet, and its course has not perfectly been decided.
Okay, Jericho, somewhere between the emotions rushing through you, somewhere between this force, a new force is kind of entering your system, a new concept, this chance of change, you're beginning to feel almost like a carrot and a stick. You see what you've done wrong, and you feel it you feel the beating against it. You feel what you've done right, and you can feel this sense of contentment with what you've done. And then just from outside your awareness, not from what you initially looked at, you feel something new arrive, you feel something strange arrive, and you feel it almost reinforce exactly what you've just seen. This sense of worth, this sense of chance change, this sense that not all is done.
Currently, right now, in the mindscape of Jericho, he has gone into a dark
deep place, but that is the only place he actually knows to find his avatar. He's currently looking at the grandfather clock with its giant gears, and behind him happens to be the tree, and he simply says, "Okay, okay. I said I would change. I said I would change. You said you would be here. I'm leaning on you now."
And it took this. And you begin to hear this sultry female voice coming from behind the clock. And where do you wish to go? What do you wish to change to be?
It's not about me right now. It's the fact that I tried to grab something across the gauntlet and it bit me. It bit me hard. It bit me so hard I got disgusted and shamed with myself and threw up. I need to grab that again, but I need to fall back upwards, back into reality.
I've been telling you you're disgusting for quite some time. Why did you never listen to me?
Because I was trying to get on with my life, okay? You can berate me, you can insult me, you can do whatever you want. All I know is that that woman behind me is the one I'm going to lean on from now on, not you.
So I tried to guide you one way, you go another. Then you learn your lesson of the wrong path and you walk another.
Yes.
Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Then
Yes.
why are you even here?
I'm here is because where both of you are at the moment. You who I want to leave, and you who I want to come back to. The thing is, I don't get to choose. I don't really get to choose where you both are. Alright? I don't get to choose where you sprout from, but I get to choose who I get to grow. Whether the black dog or the white dog.
And which one do you choose? And you begin to feel the wrap, those black claws begin to wrap themselves around the clock. Tapping these talons.
I choose the roots and the branches that grow. I choose the roots and the branches that grow and stop that clock.
And the talons wrap around the clock. The talons grow darker, they grow browner. In fact, they grow lighter, they grow more earthen. And they stick in the cogs. They stick on the minute's hand and it stops. And you begin to feel yourself returning. You begin to feel that afterglow as if you've looked into the sun. And everything just seems a shadow. The small bits you can feel things burned into the back of your retina.
Okay. As a return, I'm going to go ahead and hold my gut a little bit. Go ahead and wipe my face off from the sick that's obviously there. Go ahead and say, I think I'm back, guys. I think I'm back.
Okay. Good?
Go ahead and pull the thumbs up. I think we're good.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
You okay, boss?
Yeah, I'm okay. Just take your damn picture.
Yeah, he holds up the camera. Does it click? That was me doing the roll.
Okay. Two successes so far. Do you choose to continue?
Yeah, I'll do it one more time.
It's 5 successes.
Yeah.
And somewhere within the camera, somewhere stored within the memory, you begin to see a video played back. You're looking back towards the funeral, you know.
Yes.
You see many people, well, no, you see a few people standing round, staring at the grave. You see a priest talking over, giving the last rites. You see a number of people you see a couple of nuns, quite a few people actually in garbs, a couple of people dressed in black. If Jericho's looking over your shoulder, you'll notice Remy there as well. The look of mourning, the look of sadness. And some of the figures you'll also notice seem blurred. They seem as if time's tried to forget them.
I
There's
noticed
one
that.
kneeling on top of the grave. Its figure blurred, hair blonde, but little more can you see. You can make out no features. You can just make out a Caucasian person with blonde hair weeping. Standing next to Remy, you see another possibly masculine feature. Dark hair. Get a rough idea as to build. And as you begin to look around, as the video begins to go round, as you begin to look at it from different angles, you'll notice that some of these clergymen, some of these people dressed in black also have this feature, this oddity, this wipe.
This white?
If you give me... Let me give a quick roll. Yeah, that's enough successes. You'll know that with certain amounts of arcane, people begin to be forgotten. It begins to be harder to remember them. And even time itself begins to try to forget them.
Like, whoa, this should not be happening.
What? Easy's gonna keep like stealing worried glances at Jericho from time to time.
Like, that, whoa. Are you sure you guys even found those parents?
What do you mean? I mean, of course, there was a wedding record. There was a funeral record.
What are the records?
Medical records of Chloe Lassiter and her condition, her doctor, prognosis, condition, that kind of thing.
Okay, so it's lots of things about the child, but time is forgetting the parents ever existed.
But I have records on when the parents were married. I have a record that says that she sang "Joy to the World" at the wedding. That she ordered roses.
Well, and I'm telling you who that time is forgetting there ever existed. There's a Mary. She's a blonde, right?
You're quite familiar. You're a little bit familiar with arcane. You'll know that
Oh yeah.
what you're saying is actually quite standard. That sometimes people can release themselves of the effects, at which point things can be remembered and they can get on with their lives as much as they do. And not everyone walks around all the time with it.
Okay, fair enough.
I think what you're trying to say is apparently they had this occultation, this arcane upon them. It's just at this particular point in time, they did not choose to suppress it for one reason or another.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what I'm trying to tell you is that they went around the entirety of their life and they chose when they could be remembered or not. It's kind of like what Jericho and I have a little bit, but way more advanced.
They chose not to be remembered being at their daughter's funeral?
I think that's exactly what he's saying.
They may have chosen not to be remembered, or they may have just not chosen to be remembered.
Exactly. Very many times in this kind of condition, if they're not actively doing anything, the records that they do throw out get lost, destroyed, unremembered. So there was a funeral here. It's just that everyone is trying to forget who the parents were because they
Wait.
chose not to be remembered.
That ties into the fact that the guy at the Euthanatos place, he couldn't remember when the wedding happened. He said it was like last year, but it was actually 10 years ago.
That might make sense. Could be just a memory hiccup. Could be anything. Jericho says he's starting to settle himself on his feet again. A little bit shaky.
You need help? Are you okay?
Yeah, actually, I would love some help, Nisi.
Okay, so she's gonna kind of come over and give him a hand.
Take me over to the bench.
Okay. You sure okay? I mean, I don't... Like, you were being judged there.
What can I really say? We all have moments of doubt like that, of self-incrimination. I guess I'm just going to sit here for a little while, but
There's self-incrimination, and then there's what happened to you.
it's
Something else was incriminating you.
okay. What did you figure it was then? Because all I got was just this stream of emotion. Just this stream. It was just of disgust.
I didn't really get much from you, just that something was horribly wrong, that you were getting, like you said, disgust, but I got something completely different when I looked at that.
No, please enlighten me.
It was wonderful.
And he goes ahead and looks at you, double taking. You thought that was wonderful? You thought...
I looked at it, and I started... It felt like someone was telling me that what I had done in my life was good, that I had chosen the right paths. It felt like being it felt comforting. It felt like a moment of knowing that you're on, like I said, the right path and that everything is fine. It was a moment of revelation.
You got revelation, I've got condemnation. That definitely sounds like Mary Stuart.
If it's Mary Stuart doing this, then unfortunately she's now been inside your head and she has seen from just looking what you're, not just bad stuff, but I think she's seen some specific stuff. So if this was her, she knows stuff about you now.
Oh, God.
She knows stuff. And this, of course, what I felt was just lightly tapped against my mind, but she knows stuff about me too now.
The Herald. The Herald that went ahead and talked to a few angels in the Shadowland. I think he had the same kind of bias, if I want to go ahead and say it, against the tradition of the Omega, and possibly a little bit better towards the tradition of the Alpha.
Well, then maybe we can use that.
Not to sound like a prick or anything, but Typically, with those who suffer from egregious amounts of the arcaneness or alkalization or the forgetting, as some people call it, typically their stuff burns down quickly once they die. I'm saying that the Blasto holdings may not be holding very well very soon.
So you're saying we might actually be on a timer here?
I'm definitely saying that we are on a timer.
There's a timer of which we do not know the amount of time left on the clock. It's like those hundreds of coma patients that have actually been sleeping for a year now.
Jericho,
But
it's Christmas all over again, but this time we know it's a timer.
great! By the way, Nisi, we didn't save Christmas.
Another time, I guess.
This is what I can do. Go ahead, and I'm gonna leave this place. Oh, screw this place, I'm gonna leave it. And I'm definitely not stepping over here. No. But I'll look at the other graveyards that the bandits may have frequented as they enslaved wraiths and spirits and see what kind of information I can cook up there. But I'm not doing this here. I can't even be here right now. And Jericho's gonna go ahead and stand up and start to walk very, very shakily away.
Do you need to sit down for a bit?
I need to get away from here.
Okay, all right. Well, you're in no. Here, let me come with you. She's gonna look over her shoulder at the intern. Looks like we gotta go. You coming?
Like, yeah, sure. I've got pretty much all I can get here.
Okay.
He's shaking the camera a bit. Let's go.
Lisa's gonna look at the grave again, and she's gonna kind of walk kind of near Jericho just to make sure he doesn't fall over.
Okay. Nisi, do you still have prime sight?
I believe so. I got 2 successes.
Give me another roll. Give me a perception and awareness roll.
Okay, 3, and then alert. Okay. All right.
I don't think we can see your screen.
Oh,
How many successes or?
I got a 3, a 6, a 7, and another 3.
Okay.
6, 7.
Somewhere tangled within the vines, somewhere tangled within the branches, you begin to see something soft glow, something just somewhere at the base, partly buried, you get that feeling.
One second. Nisi's gonna go back over to the grave, and she's gonna start kind of like pawing where she sees it.
And you begin to uncover a feather. And you get, once again, this feeling of holiness. You begin to get this, as your hand begins to reach towards it, to begin to pour around the branches around it, roots between it. You get this sense of holiness, you get this sense of peace, you get this sense of beauty coming from this large and perfect feather. Not a single part of it is out of way. It's pristine and white, untouched by rain and wind and weather. Untouched by dirt, it seems, but partially buried.
I'm gonna kind of continue pawing sort of at it so that I kind of pull it out.
And as your finger begins to touch it, as it places upon it, your mind goes white, the world suddenly goes dark, and you begin to hear a crying woman's voice. You begin to hear somewhere between the soft sobs. Will you forgive me for bringing you into this broken world? Will you forgive me for not being strong and giving up on my faith so I could save you? And you begin to hear tears. And somewhere within the darkness, you begin to hear a soft, younger voice. Yes, because I love you more than anything, Mum. And never give up on your faith. And the first voice still continues to cry as if this second voice has been completely unheard. And once again you find yourself staring at the grave, staring at the feather in front of you.
Oh God. I'm gonna pick up the feather again, and I'm gonna take it with me. Gonna kind of stumblingly get to my feet. What did...
You know, I may be a young guy, but I don't think I can carry 2 full-grown people.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Jericho's just stopped in his tracks, looking back towards them. Really doesn't want to approach that grave again.
I'm gonna look back over the grave, still at prime sight. Now that I've removed the feather, does it still have that holy feeling around it?
Yeah. If Nisi's ever been on a pilgrimage to a truly holy place, she gets quite the same feeling she did there as she does from the feather.
Oh boy, this is... Oh, this is... Is she lost?
Jammer. It's a jammer.
Oh boy. Again, she's gonna tuck the feather into like her coat pocket and she's gonna go, okay, whatever happened, she's not... I think we've got a celestial chorister who's losing her faith.
Look, if you want to change traditions, do it after we save the world, okay?
Not me. I'm talking about Mary Stuart.
Fair enough. Hey, if she loses her faith, does that mean she starts Luthien? Wait a second.
Not necessarily. It's complicated.
Hey, guys, what happens to a mage whose belief is based on faith, and then she loses that faith, but she still does all the amazing bullshit powers? What has happened there?
Doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, the problem with faith is that it's not necessarily specified what you need to have faith in. Now, the strongest, and of course where my faith comes from is God, but if she has faith in something else, then that might still apply. It's the same reason why the chorister welcomes Hindus and Muslims alongside Christians and Jews. It's not specified. It is the belief in a higher power.
Could one join that higher power and become an avatar of such?
Not that I know if that would be above and beyond. I just...
Just for curiosity's sake, before we actually leave the grave totally utterly, Jericho's gonna go ahead and bust out life and prime side actually to look for enchanted objects that happen to be living.
Okay. Roll it.
Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3. Bam. 10, 1, 10.
Okay. You look around. If you're looking particularly for enchanted objects, you see the intern, you see Nisi. Nisi seems to glow just a little bit more.
Fair dues. The environment, the surroundings, particularly the grave. Because if I get a positive from the grave, I'm going to freak out.
You're looking for enchanted items that appear to be living, that in particular.
Yep.
Okay, so you've shut down your search to a very specific field, and you're not seeing that from the grave.
Great.
You're
Awesome.
seeing an abundance of life there, though, in fact.
Crap.
Just ever so slightly more than the rest of elsewhere.
Okay, so there's
Almost as if,
Go ahead.
almost as if those things that are grown there should probably have been taken a lot longer to grow.
Is this a similar situation that sort of happens to Jericho when he sort of works on a garden for an extended period of time?
It feels different.
Okay. Nothing to do with Spark of Life or Green Thumb. Good.
The resonance is different.
Awesome. Awesome. So just a wellspring of life energy right there. That life having to express itself as overgrown plant and vines.
Yeah. Why not?
Awesome. Fantastic. I'll make a mental note to go ahead and place some flowers in that grave at one point or the other. But Jericho's standing way over here, not wanting to get anywhere close.
Okay.
Do we really want to do anything more within this scene, since I see that a few of us have to be leaving rather soon? I think we're pretty good. Alright then. Kian, if you would like to do an outro, I think now is the time.
And we've more found out. Three continued our investigation. So much they've learnt and so much is still to be learnt. But where will it take them? Please keep watching. And thank you.
Good night.